They were called the Drevians, a proud, militarized species from the dark rift of the Zarkic expanse. Tall, exoskeletal, with acidic breath and a society built on conquest, they had faced dozens of species and shattered empires with precision and brutality that made even the reptilian thresh whisper their name in caution. The Drevians believed themselves untouchable. After all, for over 1,000 years, no one had bested them in war. No one had dared challenge them, until they crossed paths with a species whose name is now spoken with reverence and fear across the stars. Humanity. And if you ask anyone today what happened to the Drevians, they'll tell you the same thing. We don't talk about them. It began with a misunderstanding, as most interstellar disasters do. The Drevians attacked a small human science vessel near the neutral sector of Kovaltul. It was unarmed, broadcasting peaceful signals, and crewed by civilian exobiologists cataloging fungal growth on an ice moon. The Drevians didn't ask questions. They simply vaporized the vessel, assuming it was a Terran scout ship. All 6 souls aboard were lost. The Galactic Union held an emergency session, condemning the act and issuing sanctions against the Drevian Empire. The Drevians responded by blowing up the Union's outpost on Silex 4, a move meant to intimidate. It didn't intimidate. It enraged. Humanity did not send diplomats. They didn't broadcast ultimatums. They didn't beg for justice or sanctions. What they sent instead was the NSS Veil of Judgment, a ship never officially on record, unacknowledged in any fleet manifest, constructed in silence, tested in secret. It entered the Zarkic expanse without a transponder, black hole silent and shimmering like obsidian glass. Every sensor pointed at it failed to lock on. Every automated defense grid either shut down or exploded. The Drevians laughed. One ship? They sneered across the stars. They send one ship? The Veil of Judgment did not answer. At 4:17 Drevian planetary time, the first moon of their homeworld cracked in half. No weapons were detected. No beam, no missile, no visual confirmation. It simply shattered, violently, impossibly, sending debris into orbit and flooding their skies with burning rock and flame. Their orbital command base tried to respond. It disintegrated next. Atmospheric control failed. Panic spread. Emergency broadcasts screamed in static. And still, no human message came. By the time the Drevians rallied their fleet, 1,000 ships strong, the Veil had already entered their atmosphere. It didn't fly. It glided. It moved like thought, appearing and reappearing in pockets of air, with gravitational tremors trailing behind. Drevian fighters launched. They vanished. Entire wings blinked out of existence mid-flight, leaving only silence and ghost echoes on radar. Drevian ground commanders barked orders, ordered plasma turrets to fire on sight. But the moment the Veil passed above, the sky turned dark, and every Drevian, soldier, civilian, scientist, felt the pressure. It wasn't heat. It wasn't fear. It was a sense of being judged, not with rage, not with hatred, with cold, unforgiving logic. The next day, the capital was gone. Not destroyed, gone. Erased from existence, along with every document, every archive, every monument. Not even rubble remained. Just smooth, glass-like land where once 1,000,000 souls lived. That's when the messages began. Not from the humans, but from other species watching the horror unfold. One by one, they cut ties with the Drevians. Trading partners disappeared. Mercenaries refused contracts. Even black market cartels withdrew, terrified of proximity. The Drevians, once apex predators of interstellar warfare, were now isolated, alone. The Veil of Judgment hovered above their world for 7 days. It never moved. It never responded. And on the 7th day, it released something, not a weapon, a signal. Simple, brutal, and final. One sentence, broadcast in every known language. This was your only warning. Then it vanished. No warp signature. No trail. Gone. But the Drevians were not gone. No. Humanity had chosen something worse than extinction. They left them alive. Alive to remember. Alive to collapse from within. The military ranks dissolved within months. Leadership was overthrown, but no new government formed. The fear that the humans might return was so absolute, so bone-deep, that entire cities went dark just to avoid detection. They abandoned space travel, dismantled every ship, decommissioned satellites. They returned to their planets, to caves, to primitive existence. Anything to be small again, anything to be forgotten. And yet, they were not forgotten. Other empires took note. Not the veil, no schematics existed, no tech samples were recovered, but of humanity's capacity, their restraint. Any other species might have committed genocide, but the humans didn't wipe them out. They erased them from relevance, reduced them to legend, turned an empire into a cautionary tale, a warning to others. You may push humanity, you may provoke them, but do not make them angry. Because when humans rage, they do not just destroy your armies, they destroy your place in history. Centuries later, a young diplomat from the Macquarie Republic once asked a Terran archivist during a peaceful cultural exchange, "Why didn't you just destroy them?" The Terran, an older woman with cybernetic eyes and battle ribbons from conflicts never declassified, only smiled. "We could have," she said, "but then we'd just be like them. Instead, we made sure no one ever remembered their name in glory. We made sure no child ever grew up dreaming of being Drevian." The Macquarie diplomat, stunned, pressed further. "But their species still exists. Won't they try again?" The woman's smile vanished. Her voice turned to stone. "They won't." Now, on every star map, the quadrant once known as the Zarkith Expanse is simply labeled with a single note: uninhabitable. Do not enter. No patrols go there. No scouts. No expeditions. Those who accidentally jump near it report strange static, ghost signals, shadows in hyperspace. Some swear they saw a black silhouette in the distance, silent, watching, waiting. The kind of shadow that isn't cast by light, but by memory. Among humans, the story of the Drevians isn't written in books. It's spoken in whispers. Military instructors use them in hypothetical scenarios. Admirals refer to them only as the last ones. And in political chambers, when negotiations break down and a species threatens war, someone always leans forward, cold eyes gleaming, and says, "You remember what happened to the last species that made us angry?" And suddenly, treaties are signed, weapons are lowered, peace resumes. Not because humanity is feared for their numbers or their weapons, but because no one knows where the line is. No one knows what will trigger the quiet, precise wrath that ended the Drevians. The mystery of why humanity responded the way they did terrifies more than any open aggression. For if there's one thing the galaxy learned that day, it's this: there is no fury like a patient human with a long memory. Even now, deep in forgotten corners of space, some say remnants of the Drevian race still exist. Tribes living in silence, scavenging dust from the ruins of once great cities, huddling in fear every time they see a glint of metal in the sky. They do not speak their history. They do not mention the stars. They teach their young a single rule: carve in stone, chanted like prayer. Do not be seen. Do not be heard. And never, ever make the humans angry. Because even now, no one knows where the veil of judgment went. No signal. No trail. Some say it was dismantled. Others say it was one of many, an ark of retribution built for one purpose: to answer the call when Earth has had enough. And maybe, just maybe, it still floats somewhere, silent in the void, senses awake, listening for that one unforgivable mistake that will make it return.